What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Revival. My name is JJ, and it's time for part 3 of my PS4 collection. Okay, so, first up, a couple of Battlefield games. Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline. I like these games just for the single-player story. Battlefield 4 I played and finished in like a day, and I really enjoyed it. Battlefield Hardline, I still have not finished the single-player campaign. It seemed a little bit different from the other Battlefield games. I don't know. It's been a while since I've played it, but I remember just being like, this just doesn't feel like the other Battlefield games. I don't know if it was the gameplay or what, just kind of that feeling that I had. But I still do enjoy playing these games. I'm not a huge online person when it comes to these huge shooters. But I do like the single player aspect, and I have fun with those. So I'll definitely go back and play Hardline and finish it at some point because it's short. So yeah, it is what it is. Next game is that I'm really looking forward to because I keep hearing all about it, and that is the Outer Worlds. I keep hearing it's like Fallout in space, and I'm super excited to jump into it. This is, it's Obsidian, and they do good work. So I definitely want to get to it at some point. From what I understand, it's not super long either. So definitely looking forward to giving that a shot. Next up, The Order 1886. Man, it took me so long to get to this game. I kept putting it off because I kept saying to myself, it's short, it's fine, I'll get to it, whatever. I wish I hadn't, because I really enjoyed it when I played it. And the only thing is, as short as it was, it did overstay its welcome just a little bit because some of the levels seemed kind of pointless. Like, why am I doing this? Like, why don't we just, move to this part? Come on, let's go. Let's move it along. But I like the concept a lot. I wish there was more to it. The production value in this is so off the charts, just amazing. It's unfortunate that it didn't get more. Because it did. It just felt like it was there for the visuals, and that was about it. And they're great, but it still kind of left me feeling a little empty at the end. So it's unfortunate, but at the same time, if you really want to see what the PS4 can do, and you don't want a game that's going to take you forever to finish, I definitely recommend this because it's really cool. The Order 1886, Fallout 4. I love Skyrim, Elder Scrolls series. I love the Fallout series to a certain extent, not as much, mainly because I am more of a fantasy setting kind of guy. I can play games like Morrowind, Fallout, Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, Oblivion, till the cows come home, because I love the setting, and I love how diverse everything looks, even though it's still fantasy. There's so much that they do with it. It's just off the charts, amazing, and really cool to look at and explore. The Fallout games to me all seem kind of the same, which isn't a bad thing because they're great games. Don't get me wrong, they're fantastic. It's just that and I've said this before, I have played Fallout 3 to death. When I first got it, I was so into that game. I put so much time into it and wanted to do every little thing that I could. And I really enjoyed it. But then when it came time to get to New Vegas and then Fallout 4, I just felt like I was playing expansions to that, and I had been already, it was years later that this came out, and I still was it's just more Fallout 3. I didn't have that drive. I still finished it. I still appreciate it. Same with New Vegas. Still finished the main story. But I didn't have the desire to do all the extra side stuff and keep going with it and want to, sink my teeth into that world deeper than just, the very basic stuff that you do to get through it, which is unfortunate. Because I do feel that way about Elder Scrolls, where all the games, I'm all about them. So it's unfortunate, but you really can't go wrong with any of the games in this series. If you've never played a Fallout game before, 4 is a great one to start with. It really is. So I can't recommend it enough. It just, again, for me, because it just felt like something I had played so much of earlier, I was just kind of exhausted of that environment and that kind of thing. So, yeah. I'm not a big fan of scrounging for resources either. That's big in those kind of games. SpiderMan. So much fun. If you have a PS4, get this. You owe it to yourself. The new one is out now, Miles Morales. If I get a PS5, I will probably get it. I don't know that I'm going to be in a rush to have it day one or anything, because again, kind of like Fallout 4, I'm worried that I'm going to fall into that trap of it's just more of that. And I played the hell out of this, did everything, got the platinum and all that stuff. I really, really enjoyed the hell out of this game as far as the gameplay goes. But I got my fill, which is why I'm not overly excited about Miles Morales. But I think it's really awesome looking. And if you haven't played this and you have a PS5, or it's on PS4 if you want to get that too, I can't imagine, unless it's drastically different and worse, try either one of them, because they're both going to knock your socks off. It's the best way to be Spider-Man without actually being Spider-Man. They just do a really, really good job putting you in Spider-Man's shoes. Or jumper, whatever he wears. Next, Secret of Mana. I actually bought this digitally first because I wanted it, because this actually got delayed getting sent to me. Wait, was it delayed? No, I think the physical version just came out later, but I really wanted to play it, and so I got the digital version. But I still wanted to support it, and I still wanted the physical copy, so I got the physical copy. I mean, this is one of my favorite games of all time. It's just so nostalgic for me. The remake is serviceable. It's fine. The original is still, I think, better. But this is still a really, really fun game, especially if you have people to play with. If you've got 2 other people to play with, it's a blast. It really is. Just sitting back, enjoying the really simplistic story, and just going on this grand adventure with 2 of your friends, leveling up, getting new equipment, magic, and just exploring this world. It's really, really fun. Turn the voice acting off, because it's not great. But the game itself is still really fun, and I really, really just... I love Secret of Mana with all my heart. Next one is the only Yakuza game that I own currently, and that is Judgment. I am looking forward to getting into this. The only reason I picked this up recently, because I do plan on getting them all and playing through them at some point, but this one was on sale and super cheap, and I don't know that this is necessarily going to be cheap for very long. I just get the feeling this might be a little bit harder to find at some point. But I am really looking forward to getting into this and the series in general, because I've yet to meet anybody who says the Yakuza series sucks, or that it's bad, or quite frankly anything negative about it at all. So I am super looking forward to getting into it. Next, so about 2017-ish to I think it was 2018, because I wanted to get the cheaper ones. I was just like, you know what, I haven't bought a sports game in a while. So I went online and I bought a few older sports games that were cheap at the time. And I pretty much just got one from each of the main things. And I got The Show, The Show 16, NHL 17, FIFA 17, Madden 17, and NBA 2K 17. I played NHL and I played Madden a little bit. I think that was about it. I don't know. I was in this mood to I was like, man, I haven't bought any sports titles in a while. I need to get on that. And so I picked up one of each. I'm not huge on sports games, but I do have fun with them when I play them. So I like to kind of have one that I can, like I've said in the past, I will buy one every 5 years or something like that. I'll get a Madden or an NHL, and that's about it. And they were all so cheap that I was just like, I'm going to get one of each, and we'll go from there. From what I've played of FIFA in the past too, those games are actually really fun as well. So I can't I won't lie to you and say that I'll definitely play these games because I got to get to them. I don't know. Chances are I may never get to any of them or go back to any of them ever again. But that was the story behind me getting them in the first place, and I thought that was kind of funny. We're not at 5 years yet, so I can still count those at this point, right? Right? Yeah. Okay. Next up, The Last Guardian. I didn't buy this. My friend Brian bought this for me. And it was mainly because we were doing at the time we were doing this video game book club thing where there was a group of 3 of us every time, and then we had a rotating 4th and 5th guy that would sometimes come in and join us, and we would all go out for wings and eat wings and talk about the game we played, and then we would decide on a new game to play. And we did it once every 2 or 3 months or something like that, and it was with this one on for I'd say about a year, something like that, and it was fun. There's another game coming up later on that ended that whole thing. Actually, no, that's not it, but it is in here somewhere. I'm glad I beat this game. I'm glad I finished it. But the frustration, the controls, and just dealing with the creature, whatever his name is, I don't even remember his name to be honest with you. Trico, that was his name. It's just not for me, man. And it was the same, I have said this before, Shadow of the Colossus, I've played a demo for that, and I hated it with a passion. It was awful. I remember having the same frustrations. The controls, did not like them, and I hated the idea of just making all this progress, climbing to the top to get one hit in, then getting knocked all the way back down, only to do the same thing over again to get one more hit in, and then doing it again. I hated that so much. I know that's blasphemy for me to say. I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan. It's just not for me. Everybody loves those games, and you know what, I've seen mixed reactions on this as well. I think the story was really, really cute, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful to look at, and what they did with the animation in this game is amazing, and I could definitely appreciate it, but man, it just wasn't for me. I was just frustrated most of the time, and I just wanted it to be over, quite frankly, towards the end. So it's really hard for me to recommend The Last Guardian, just because of the exercise and frustration that it gave me. So yeah, sorry. I know a lot of people love Team Ico in those games, but I am just not a fan. Monster Hunter World. I love this game. Freaking adore it. I would love to get back into it at some point, to be honest with you. Again, kind of like Destiny 2, I would just love to have people to play with. I didn't get the expansion, and that's because I just haven't played it in a while, but I really, really enjoyed just getting a party together and getting on our headsets and going in and just taking down these giant monsters as a team. Playing solo just isn't the same. It's another one of those where it's just much better with other people. For me, it was at least. And I absolutely cannot recommend this enough if you've got somebody to play with. This is one where I don't mind the grind as much. Again, especially if you're with other people. Just because it's the monster fights are so epic, and it's just really cool to see yourself grow and become more powerful over time. I use the insect glaive, which is the 2 things, and you catapult yourself up onto its back and that kind of thing. It's really, really cool. But yeah, Monster Hunter World. The only Monster Hunter game that I like, because it's an open world rather than different zones with 1,000 loading screens in between each one, which is what turned me off in the first Monster Hunter game I played, the one on the Wii. I just hated how many loading screens there were and having to chase these things from loading screen to loading screen. It was frustrating. Next up is Prey, a game that I got recently from my friend Lamont, who this is a game that I want to play very, very soon, because I have been told by many people that this is just a really, really great experience. And so Prey is one that I definitely will be getting into at some point in the near future, for sure. Alien Isolation. I got this when I first got my PS4, but I didn't play it until a couple of years down the line. And when I did, man, I loved it. I loved this game so much. It was terrifying, especially with the stupid PS camera, because it detects things, and so my cell phone would go off or something, and the alien would find me and kill me because it heard my cell phone in real life through the PS camera. It was crazy, but it was also really cool. So This game is really, really good. Terrifying too. I recommend going for the full experience, turning all your lights off and that kind of thing. It is really, really a good game though. Definitely recommend Alien Isolation. Next up, Dragon's Dogma. Have not played it, but looking forward to it. I love the aesthetics and just the idea of going on a big quest with your party members and that kind of thing. So definitely going to be super excited to get into this at some point. I got this fairly recently, and because I saw it pretty cheap, so I definitely will be getting into that at some point. I don't know much about it though, other than just like what it looks like. So if you recommend Dragon's Dogma, do I need to get to it quick? Because I don't know. It's not like super high up on my list, but I do want to play it for sure. Next is a game that needs no introduction. That is The Witcher 3. This is one of my favorite games of all time, hands down. I freaking adore this game. I played it all the way through, finished it, and then I stopped, and I was like, once it was done, I finished the story and everything, and then the 2 expansions came out. I didn't get them right away. I was kind of like, I'll get them down the line, whatever. Didn't really have much interest, which is funny because, again, like I said, this is one of my favorite games of all time. When I finally did jump in and play those 2 expansions, I remembered why I fell in love with this game in the first place. They were so good, so amazing, and just games in and of themselves. And I was kicking myself for not having played them sooner, because it just expanded on what I already loved. I cannot wait to see what they do in the future, especially with Cyberpunk coming out. I think CD Projekt Red is wonderful. So, cannot recommend this game enough to people who are fans of story-focused gaming, who don't have a weak stomach. I don't mean that like in like a gross out kind of way. I mean that in like a like oh my gosh, I can't believe this is like the decisions you have to make, and some of them you'll feel it because you have to make some tough calls. And that's what it's all about, because it's not a friendly game, but it is a great game. Cannot recommend Witcher 3 enough. The best game I've ever played. I did a video on that, actually. It is the best game I've ever played. And the last one in this stack, Dissidia, Final Fantasy. Have not played it, but I picked it up because it's got Final Fantasy in the title. I will try it at some point, I'm sure. I tried playing the one on PSP, and I wasn't super into it. I didn't really know what I was doing, and the fact that I do now, but I didn't have an instruction booklet or anything. I just had the UMD thing, and that was it. So I really didn't have like any way of knowing what to do. I was just mashing buttons and stuff, and these games you can't really mash buttons from what I understand. So I am looking forward to trying this out at some point and giving it a fair shake, just because it's Final Fantasy, and it's Blaze Locke. He's the best. So there's part 3 of my PS4 collection. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll see you next week, and as always, keep on gaming.